There comes a quiet ache, deep beneath the surface of a weary soul. A fatigue not of the body, but of the heart. The kind that comes from always trying to be enough. It is the ache of endless effort. The quiet exhaustion of measuring your worth by what you have done, who you have pleased, what you have accomplished. For so long, the world has whispered that love must be earned, that peace must be proven, that belonging must be built through perfect days and unbroken deeds. And yet, in the stillness of the evening, beneath the soft hush of twilight air, a gentler truth begins to breathe. Take a slow, deep breath. Let your shoulders soften. Feel the weight you have carried all day begin to ease. Let the rhythm of your breathing find its quiet pace. In and out. Steady, calm, faithful. The noise of the day fades. The lists, the worries, the self-judgment, all grow dim beneath the settling peace of this moment. If these stories bring you peace, take a moment to like this video. Subscribe for more nightly reflections, and share where you're listening from tonight. Your words and presence help keep this space warm and growing. Now, take another slow breath. Let's begin. The evening stretches like a prayer across the horizon. Shadows lengthen along the olive hills, and the wind moves softly through the valley of grace. A lamp flickers in the window of a small home, where a humble believer sits in silence, hands folded, heart open, wondering if they have done enough. Enough to be loved, enough to be forgiven, enough to be seen by the God who formed the stars. But tonight, something different happens. A verse comes to mind, gentle as a lullaby. For it is by grace that you have been saved, through faith. And this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of God. No merit, no striving, no ladder to climb. Only a gift, quietly placed into open hands by the one who has already done the work. The air feels lighter now, as if heaven itself exhales. The soft hum of grace moves like water through the soul, washing away the residue of effort, of guilt, of needing to prove anything at all. You are loved, not because you have earned it, but because He cannot stop loving. You are forgiven, not because you have perfected your steps, but because His mercy runs deeper than every stumble. You are held, not because your grip is strong, but because His hands never let go. Breathe, and let these words settle into the quiet chambers of your being. Grace, not work. Love, not labor. Peace, not performance. Let the night draw you nearer to this truth, like a child resting against the heartbeat of their father. Outside, the stars begin to bloom one by one across the sky. silent witnesses to a love that never tires. And beneath their soft light, the weary heart finally loosens its grasp, allowing grace to hold what effort never could. The world hums with a constant rhythm, the beat of doing, of proving, of performing. Every street, every screen, every voice seems to echo the same refrain. Be more, achieve more, show more, or be forgotten. And so, hearts rush to keep up, hands reach for higher ladders, souls grow thin in the pursuit of worth. The sun rises, and with it, another day of striving begins, an endless current that carries so many through the motions of success, yet leaves their spirits parched. But somewhere in that noise, grace still whispers. It waits in the quiet spaces, between the ticking of the clock, between the sighs of those who have tried too long, between the moments when the soul asks, "Is there another way?" Take a deep breath. Let it flow slowly through you. Feel your heart beat slow, steady, safe. You do not need to chase. Not here. Not now. Let the world continue its hurried pace, while you step into stillness. Let this story unfold gently around you, like light spilling through an open door. There was once a man who believed his worth could be measured by law, by ritual, by every good thing he did. He counted each act of righteousness like pearls on a string, hoping that someday they would be enough to please heaven. But deep inside, beneath his careful obedience, there was a hollow place, a quiet fear that whispered, "What if I am never enough?" And then, one night, under the veil of stars, the truth found him. He felt it not as a command, but as a comfort, not as a demand, but as a hand upon his heart. Grace, he realized, was not a transaction. It was a transformation. It did not ask him to climb higher, but to rest deeper. For the words of Ephesians live in that still moment. For it is by grace that you have been saved, through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast. It is not about what we bring to the altar, but about the love that met us long before we arrived. Outside, the moon rises softly over the fields, silver light brushing against the olive leaves, the air scented with dew and soil. In that quiet, the world's demands begin to fade, their noise replaced by the tender hum of divine presence. The kind of peace that doesn't need proof. The kind of love that does not ask for performance. You are enough. Even here. Even now. Not because of what you've built, but because of what He has already finished. Breathe. Let that truth drift deeper, like gentle rain sinking into the earth of your soul. Rest in this. You were never meant to earn the sunlight, only to open your heart and let it in. There is a quiet voice beneath the noise, beneath the rushing hours and restless minds, beneath the endless whisper of tasks unfinished. It is softer than wind through olive leaves, gentler than dawn light upon still water. It waits patiently, even when hearts grow weary from trying to do enough, to be enough, to prove they belong. And when the world grows loud, that voice does not shout. It simply remains, constant, kind, waiting to be heard. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe in deeply, and let the air fill every corner of your chest. Hold it gently, then let it go, like a sigh that carries away everything you no longer need. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders fall. Let your thoughts drift like clouds across a calm blue sky. You are safe. You are here. You are in the presence of peace. The soft voice beneath the noise. It is grace speaking. It does not demand your perfection. It does not tally your failures. It does not tire of your returning. It speaks only love, only mercy, only rest. In the quiet of an ancient hillside, a small stream wins its way through stones worn smooth by time. Each ripple catches the moonlight, shimmering like forgiveness made visible. The water never strives. It simply flows, moving where it is guided, shining without effort. And in its rhythm, you can almost hear the voice of grace whispering, "Be still, and know that you are mine." For long ago, humanity learned to measure itself by effort, to believe that the divine must be earned, that love must be traded for obedience. But grace turned that belief upside down. It came not to demand, but to give, not to judge, but to heal. It spoke to the weary and said, "You are already loved." Before you lift a hand, before you say a word, before you understand why. Breathe again, slowly. Let that truth rest upon you like the soft weight of a blanket, warm and steady. There is no striving here, only surrender. There is no test to pass, no scale to balance, only a gift to receive. Somewhere in the distance, an unseen bird sings its last song of the evening, each note fading into the deepening dusk. The world grows quieter, and so does your heart. What remains is that soft voice beneath the noise, steady, sure, endlessly patient. The voice of grace that calls you beloved, not because of what you've done, but because of who He is. Let yourself rest in that voice tonight. Let its melody be the lullaby that carries you into peace. You do not need to speak, or prove, or try, only to listen. There is a moment, somewhere between wakefulness and rest, when the world softens, and everything feels suspended. It is there that the whisper comes, gentle, unhurried, like wind moving through linen at twilight. It says nothing of achievement, nothing of worth proved or value earned. It simply breathes the ancient truth. You are already loved. Take a slow, deep breath. Let it rise, then fall, like a tide returning to the sea. The muscles along your neck, your shoulders, your chest begin to ease. The day loosens its grip. The mind untangles from its endless circles. And in the quiet left behind, there is space for grace to enter. In a distant meadow, touched by the first light of evening stars, a traveler kneels beside a stream. Dust clings to his robe, sweat to his brow. His hands tremble from the long journey. He has carried questions for miles, burdens no one else could see. But here, under the hush of the sky, he hears something unlike the roar of the world. Not an instruction, not a demand, but a whisper. Soft, radiant, like water over stone. You are already loved. The words move through him, unfamiliar yet deeply known. He had built his faith on effort, on doing enough to earn favor, on building a tower high enough to reach heaven. Yet heaven had already descended, in love, in mercy, in the form of a Savior who did not come to count deeds, but to cradle hearts. The whisper continues, flowing like light through the cracks of old beliefs. You were loved before you prayed your first prayer. You were loved before you fixed what was broken. You were loved before you knew how to love yourself. For love does not wait for perfection. It exists because God is love. The traveler closes his eyes, hands open, palms to the sky. He feels the weight begin to leave him, like stones lifted from the soul. He had believed his worth was a mountain he must climb. But now he understands. It is the valley where grace descends. And in that surrender, he begins to rest. The stars above him glow softly, as if reflecting heaven's quiet joy. The water beside him murmurs the rhythm of peace, and the earth beneath him feels steady, solid, safe. This is the sacred rest that follows realization, the stillness that comes when striving ends. No one earns the sunrise, yet it comes every morning. No one earns the rain, yet it falls upon all fields alike. So too, grace comes, unasked, undeserved, unstoppable. Let your breath follow that truth, slow and steady. Let your heart lean into it, without defense, without question. You are already loved. You always were. You always will be. The whisper still moves through the night air, a hymn older than time, a promise never broken. And in its sound, peace finds its home in you. There was a hill once, quiet now, but long ago. The air trembled with a weight beyond words. Upon that hill stood a cross, not as a symbol of loss, but as the still point where all striving came to rest. The world did not understand it then, how something so painful could hold such peace, how something so final could begin everything anew. But heaven knew that in that moment, the long race for approval ended. Take a slow, deep breath. Let the air fill your lungs. Hold it gently, then release. With every breath out, feel the tension of earning, proving, achieving. Begin to dissolve. You are not running tonight, not climbing, not competing. You are resting under the shadow of that cross, where grace finished what effort could not. In the hush of twilight, picture the hill bathed in amber light, the last rays of sun falling across weathered wood. The wind moves softly through wild grass, carrying the faint scent of myrrh and earth. There is no noise of crowds now, only stillness, only peace. For the cross has done what no work of human hand could do. Long ago, people built ladders of law and ritual, hoping each step would bring them closer to God. But the cross became the bridge that reached down instead. God descending to humanity, not humanity climbing to Him. The nails did not hold defeat. They held a love that would never let go. Grace was written into every beam, every breath, every tear that fell that day. It was not the end of goodness, but the end of trying to earn it. It was the beginning of rest, the quiet invitation to simply receive what had already been given. The wind around the hill sighs like a prayer, and the ground beneath it feels holy, because it remembers. It remembers how mercy was poured out like water, how forgiveness spread like sunrise across the world. The earth itself seemed to exhale that day, as though creation understood. The race was over. No more running toward approval. No more counting of merit. No more scales of worth. Only love. Standing eternal. Unshakable. Complete. Breathe again. Softly. Let your chest rise. Then fall. Like the steady rhythm of grace itself. Let the sound of your breath remind you that life is a gift, freely given, never earned. The cross was not proof of what you must do. It was proof of what has been done. In the distance, a bird settles into its nest, its small heart slowing as night deepens. You too may rest now, under the same vast sky that once held the crucified and the redeemed. You are seen. You are loved. You are free from the race. The hill is silent, but in that silence, heaven speaks. It says, "Peace. It is finished." Grace arrives quietly, not in thunder or blaze, but in the hush that follows surrender. It is the calm after striving, the warmth after cold effort, the still breath after long miles of proving. It does not knock loudly, nor does it demand to be noticed. It simply waits, like dawn waiting to touch the horizon. Take a slow, deep breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let it soften the corners of your mind. Let it smooth the furrows of your heart. You do not have to reach for grace tonight. It is already here. Like the gentle air that surrounds you, it wraps itself around the weary edges of your soul. Imagine yourself in a quiet garden, just before morning breaks. The air is cool, fragrant with olive and rain. A single drop of dew slides down a leaf, trembling, glimmering, before falling into the soil below. It does not ask permission to fall. It does not fear the descent. It simply yields to gravity, to the way it was made to move. So too does grace find you, not by your reach, but by its own design to descend. For grace is not a reward. It is a rhythm. It flows downward, to the humble, to the open, to the still. It gathers in the quiet hearts that have stopped running, the ones who have made peace with being small in a world obsessed with more. It sits beside the lowly and says, "Here is love, without condition, without measure." The gift of grace cannot be wrapped in human effort. It is wrapped in stillness. It waits for silence, for the moment when hands finally stop building and simply open. And in that open space, God places what no striving could win: peace that surpasses understanding, mercy that renews, love that restores what was forgotten. Listen. There it is. The soft hum of night insects, the slow whisper of leaves. Creation breathes in time with its maker, unhurried, unafraid. Every creature receives its portion, not by earning, but by being. So it is with you tonight. Grace finds the one who ceases to grasp. Let that truth rest over you, like cool shade after long sunlight. You have nothing to prove, nothing to perform, nothing to polish before being accepted. The hands of heaven have already reached you, already chosen you, already called you beloved. The night grows deeper. The stars shimmer like scattered promises, and every one whispers the same gentle truth. Grace is not a task to complete. It is a gift to receive. And it arrives best when you finally stop moving. So breathe again, slow and deep. Feel how stillness is not emptiness, but fullness, quietly overflowing. Feel how grace settles into every quiet space you allow it to enter. And let that stillness hold you now. There are moments when the soul bends beneath its own weight, when the quiet ache of being human feels too heavy to carry. In those moments, we forget that we are not meant to carry alone. There are unseen hands, tender, eternal, always reaching, always near. Hands that lift when the spirit falls, that hold when strength runs thin. Breathe softly. Let the air move in and out of your chest like a tide. Every inhale, a reminder that life continues. Every exhale, a release of all the invisible burdens you've gathered throughout the day. You don't have to hold them anymore. Not here. Not now. In the still light of a late evening, a traveler walks along a narrow path that winds through quiet hills. The earth beneath his feet feels cool, the grass brushing against his robe. He is tired, not only in body, but in soul. He carries regrets like stones in a satchel, each one a memory of something he could not make right. Yet with every step, unseen hands are at work. They do not remove the path, but they make the journey lighter. They do not erase the past, but they cradle the heart that remembers it. There is a mercy that moves where eyes cannot see. It slips through the cracks of despair. It gathers the scattered pieces of the heart and fits them back together. Sometimes we feel it as peace that comes without reason. Sometimes as tears that fall freely, washing something unseen away. Sometimes as quiet strength, rising from within, though we cannot explain how it came. The unseen hands of grace never force. They simply offer. They come from a God who does not wait for perfection, but meets us in the middle of our weakness. Who whispers, "My power is made perfect in your weakness." Who reminds us, "You are not alone in this weight. Let me lift it with you." Breathe again. Feel the space between your ribs widen, and then soften. The air that enters you now is lighter, cleaner, filled with peace. The air that leaves carries away every silent burden you've carried in your chest. Picture those unseen hands, strong yet gentle, like light itself taking form. They lift your heart, not to demand more, but to set it free from the ache of performance. They hold you not because of what you have done, but because of who you are to Him. The stars above shimmer quietly, each one a spark of grace suspended in infinite night. And beneath them, the weary heart begins to rise. not by its own strength, but by love that will not let it fall. Let that image stay with you. Unseen hands beneath every breath, every thought, every hope. They have carried you farther than you know, and they will carry you still. There is a hush that follows forgiveness, a silence softer than rain upon leaves. It is not the silence of emptiness, but of release. The sound of chains loosening, of guilt dissolving, of a soul finally finding ground firm enough to rest upon. Forgiveness, when received deeply, becomes more than an act. It becomes a place, a home for the restless heart, a sanctuary for the ones who tried too long to make themselves clean. And there, in that sacred quiet, grace builds a dwelling. Take a slow, patient breath. Feel it move through you like a small river, steady, gentle, without rush. As you breathe out, imagine every trace of regret leaving with it, every sharp memory, every self-reproach, every hidden wound. Let them fall away, into hands that never close in anger. There was once a woman who came to Jesus, trembling, her past a shadow that seemed to follow her wherever she went. The world around her had turned its back, her name spoken only in whispers of judgment. But Christ did not look at her through that lens of shame. He saw the soul beneath the dust, the beauty still alive under the ruin. He said no grand sermon. He simply forgave. And in that forgiveness, she found rest. Forgiveness became her shelter, her evening lamp, her morning song. She no longer needed to prove her worth, for she had seen what love looks like when it kneels beside the fallen. Grace had given her not only pardon, but peace. For this is the quiet wonder of Ephesians. By grace you have been saved through faith, and this not from yourselves. It is the gift of God. Forgiveness is not earned through apology. It is received through trust. It does not erase the story. It redeems it. Let your breathing deepen, slow and steady. Feel the warmth of that truth settle inside you. The same love that met her meets you tonight. You are not defined by what you've done, but by who holds you now. You are not pursued by judgment, but by mercy that runs faster than your fears. Outside, the night drifts quiet and still. The wind touches the branches like a blessing, and the stars scatter light like grains of peace across the sky. You can almost feel the world exhaling with you. Forgiven, renewed. In this place, forgiveness is not a moment, but a dwelling. A home built not by hands, but by grace itself. And within its walls, you may finally lay down, not as one unworthy, but as one wholly loved. Rest here a while. Let the sound of grace become the heartbeat of your rest. You have been forgiven. You are safe. You are home. Imagine a meadow untouched by footsteps. Soft grass bending beneath the hush of dawn. Mist clings to the earth like a prayer unspoken, and light slowly gathers at the edge of the horizon. Every blade, every flower, every drop of dew exists not because it earned its place, but because it was loved into being. This is the meadow of unearned mercy. Take a deep, slow breath. Feel the air fill your lungs, cool and gentle, like the breath of God moving across creation. As you exhale, let the day's noise drift away. The endless lists, the quiet guilt, the need to be perfect. Let them dissolve like fog before morning light. In this meadow, mercy grows wild. It does not bloom for the best. It blooms for all. The weary and the strong, the faithful and the doubting, the ones who stayed close and the ones who ran far. Here, grace makes no distinction. It gives without asking. It loves without ledger. There was once a shepherd who strayed from his own field, chasing lost sheep through the thorns of his own heart. He wandered too far, burdened by the idea that he had failed his calling. But when he stopped to rest, he found himself surrounded by lilies, bright and alive in the sunlight. He knelt among them, tears on his face, and heard that soft truth echo in his chest. You are loved not because of what you've done, but because you are mine. And in that moment, he realized he had wandered straight into mercy's meadow. The flowers swayed as if in quiet praise. The breeze whispered through the leaves, and the air seemed to hum with God's nearness. Every color, every scent, every soft note of wind carried a message that creation had known all along. Grace is not earned by effort. It is received through being still enough to notice it has already come. Breathe again. Let your shoulders sink deeper into comfort. You don't have to do anything right now. You don't have to prove, achieve, explain. The meadow accepts you as you are. Its beauty surrounds you simply because you are here. And as you sit within it, imagine that the mercy around you begins to seep into your bones. It moves through you like light through glass, filling every space that once felt hollow. It softens every sharp edge of self-blame, every old scar of not enough. It teaches your heart to trust again, not in your own strength, but in the kindness of God's grace. Above you, the clouds part, revealing a sky so vast it seems to breathe with you. Every inhale, grace enters. Every exhale, mercy flows out. You are part of the rhythm now, part of the stillness that carries divine love through all things. And somewhere, in that sacred quiet, a voice seems to whisper again, "You are the meadow. You are the loved. You are the reason mercy blooms. Rest here, beneath the gentle hand of God's grace. Let the unearned mercy surround you, fill you, remake you into peace itself." Somewhere in the quiet of the land, a river moves through the valley. It does not rush to prove its strength. It does not choose where to flow. It wins with patient ease, carrying life wherever it touches. The river does not ask who is worthy to drink. It simply gives. And in that giving, it becomes a mirror of grace itself. Take a deep breath, slow and easy. Imagine the sound of water, steady, rhythmic, falling over smooth stones. With each inhale, feel its cool calm draw near. With each exhale, let the weight of striving dissolve into the current. You are standing at the edge of grace, and the river is waiting. The world builds walls, boundaries, and rules about who deserves kindness, who has earned forgiveness. But grace is a river that ignores such lines. It flows through deserts of guilt, across mountains of pride, into valleys where shame once lived. It flows toward those who thirst for love, even when they believe they are too far gone to be found. Once, a man stood by such a river. He had spent his life building nets to catch worthiness, fishing for approval that always slipped away. His hands were calloused from effort, his heart tired from disappointment. But one day, he heard the voice of Jesus calling, "Come and drink." And so he stepped into the water, letting the current rise around him. It washed over his hands, his heart, his weary soul. When he emerged, the striving was gone. In its place, a peace he could not explain. He had not earned the river, yet the river had found him. The same current flows even now. It carries the mercy that never ends, the love that does not wait to be invited. You can hear it if you listen, in the rhythm of your own breathing. Grace moving in and out of you, like water through the world. Breathe slowly. Let the sound of that invisible current calm your mind. Each breath in, a reminder that God's love is always arriving. Each breath out, a reminder that you do not need to deserve it to receive it. The river of grace does not stop when the path grows rough. It moves around obstacles, through shadows, even beneath the soil where eyes cannot see. And still it flows, carrying renewal in its depths. Because that is what grace does. It finds its way, always. Under the moonlight, the river gleams like silver silk, stretching into the horizon. It whispers to the earth, "You are loved. You are loved. You are loved." And the valley listens and believes. Stay here for a while, listening to that river. Let its rhythm guide your heartbeat until peace becomes your only pulse. Let grace flow through you, not as an idea, but as a living stream of love. You are the one the river came for, and it will never stop flowing toward you. There are nights when even prayer feels heavy, when words stay trapped behind quiet lips, when faith flickers low like a candle pressed by wind. In those nights, God does not wait for eloquence. He does not require strength. He simply comes close and sits beside the broken. Breathe in, slowly, through the nose. Let the breath soften your chest, loosen your shoulders. As you exhale, imagine a long sigh leaving the soul, a release of every weight you were never meant to carry alone. Feel the quiet begin to form around you, gentle, unhurried, holy. There is a story the stars could tell if they could speak, of nights when heaven bent low, when divinity drew near to pain instead of away from it, when Christ knelt beside the sorrowing and wept with those who wept. He did not fix every moment in an instant. He held them through it. He did not erase their story. He wrote love through its lines. Somewhere in a small house at the edge of the city, a woman sits in silence. Her lamp burns low. Her hands tremble in her lap. She has prayed until the words ran dry. And now, there is only quiet. But in that quiet, something shifts. The air thickens, warm, steady, peaceful. And though she cannot see him, she knows she is not alone. The presence settles beside her like a friend, not with thunder, but with calm. No questions, no accusations, no demands. Just love, vast enough to fill the room, gentle enough to let her cry. Tears fall freely, each one caught by unseen hands. And in the hush that follows, she hears it, not through ears, but through her soul. You are loved, even here, especially here. That is what grace does in the night of the broken. It does not shout from heaven's height. It sits in the dust beside you. It becomes warmth where there was cold, breath where there was none. It wraps its arms around grief until grief begins to rest. Take another slow breath. Inhale, peace. Exhale, the ache of yesterday. Let yourself believe this. The same God who created galaxies is not distant from your pain. He does not measure you by composure or strength. He calls you His, even when all you can do is be still. Outside, the night deepens. Stars shimmer like promises kept. The wind carries the faint scent of cedar and earth, and with it, a sense of quiet companionship. He is with you in this silence, not waiting for you to rise, but resting here with you. Grace, even now, is not a reward for resilience. It is the nearness of love to the one who can no longer stand. It is God sitting beside the broken, whispering softly, "You are still mine." Stay in this stillness, for here is where healing begins. Here, love does not demand movement. It simply gives presence. There was a moment in time when heaven looked upon humanity and saw the scales we had built. Every act of kindness weighed against failure, every prayer balanced by guilt, every step forward measured against how many we had stumbled. And still, love looked at those scales and refused to play the game. Love did not count. It covered. Love did not compare. It carried. Love refused to keep score. Take a long, steady breath. Let your body settle deeper into stillness. Let the mind loosen its grip on all that it has tried to tally, every success, every flaw, every unseen effort. Here, there is no record, no ledger, no keeping of accounts. Only mercy, flowing like the quiet tide. There was once a teacher who walked dusty roads, who touched the sick, who lifted the fallen, who ate with those the world refused to see. And everywhere he went, love followed him like a shadow that never faded. The self-righteous wanted to count worthiness, but he counted hearts. They wanted to weigh deeds, but he weighed compassion. He saw the ledger of human striving, and with every act of grace, he tore a page from it. One day, they brought to him a woman caught in shame. They pointed fingers. They demanded judgment. They spoke of laws and worthiness. But he stooped low, writing in the dust. Not words of condemnation, but symbols of mercy. And when he stood, the accusers were gone. Only love remained. A love that does not keep score, because forgiveness has already won. In that act, heaven rewrote the rules. It said, "You are not the sum of your past. You are the story of my grace." It said, "You are not measured by what you did, but by what I have done for you." It said, "There is nothing left to prove." Breathe again, slow and kind. Let the air feel like new light entering the soul. Let go of the need to measure your goodness or compare your grace. Love does not keep lists. It keeps promises. Outside, the night breeze moves through olive branches. the moonlight soft upon the ground. The same God who refused to keep score then, still refuses now. He sees you not as a number, but as a name. Not as a mistake, but as a masterpiece in progress. He counts not your flaws, but your place in his heart. And as the breeze brushes against your skin, imagine it carrying away every weight of guilt you once held close. Each breath out, a letting go of judgment. Each breath in, an acceptance of grace. There is freedom in being loved by a God who keeps no record of wrongs. Freedom to rest, to breathe, to simply be. The scales are gone, the burden is lifted, and love stands in their place. The stars shimmer softly overhead, the sky wide open with promise. And somewhere deep inside, the soul begins to whisper back, "Thank you for loving me without measure." There is a moment in every heart's journey when the endless striving finally quiets, when the soul grows tired of climbing ladders built from its own expectations, and instead simply stops, not out of defeat, but out of surrender. And in that stillness, something sacred unfolds. The realization that you were enough in his eyes all along. Take a slow, tender breath. Let the air fill the space behind your heart, the place that has longed to rest. Exhale softly, and feel the relief of releasing what was never yours to earn. Let your heart beat slow. Let your body remember what it means to belong without condition. For so long, the world has taught us to build worth out of performance, to believe that love is given only to the flawless, that acceptance must be fought for. But heaven has always known otherwise. It whispers through every sunrise, every gentle breath, every moment of grace undeserved. You are already enough. Picture yourself standing in a wide open field, dusk settling like a gentle sigh across the sky. The air smells of earth and hope, the light golden and soft. You can feel the wind move through your hair, across your face, as though creation itself is breathing peace over you. And there, in that open space, you hear the truth spoken not in words, but in knowing. God's love for you was never conditional. It was never waiting for you to become perfect. It was waiting for you to be still enough to receive it. He calls you beloved, not because of what you've achieved, but because of who He is. He delights in you, not because you always get it right, but because you are His creation, His reflection, His child. He looks upon you with the gaze of eternity, and sees not your scars, but your story redeemed. Breathe again, gently. Let that truth sink deep into your bones. You are not the mistakes you've made. You are the mercy that has met you in them. You are not the effort of your striving. You are the gift of His grace. And in His eyes, you are already enough. There is a strange, liberating freedom that follows this realization. It is not loud. It is not triumphant. It feels more like the moment a storm ends, and the air smells new again. It feels like laughter after long silence, like tears that heal instead of harm. You can walk slower now, breathe easier, live lighter. For the God who made you does not stand with clipboard and tally. He stands with open arms and a heart that says, "Come as you are. I am already pleased to call you mine." Outside, the night has deepened. The stars burn quietly above the world. Every one of them shines without earning its light. Every one of them mirrors this same unchanging truth. Grace does not demand perfection. It declares you beloved as you are. So rest in that freedom tonight. Let it wrap around you like the softest blanket of peace. You were never meant to be flawless. You were meant to be found. There are miracles that shake mountains. And then there are the quiet ones, the kind that unfold in silence, the kind that do not call attention to themselves, yet change everything. Grace is that kind of miracle. Not loud, not forceful, not fleeting, but steady. Layer upon layer, breath upon breath, grace upon grace. Take a slow breath, gentle and deep. Let it fill you like morning light entering an open room. As you exhale, let it carry away the noise that still lingers at the edges of your thoughts. Settle into this quiet, where the miracle lives. In the hush of creation, grace has always been at work. It was there in Eden's dawn, when the first light touched the face of humankind. It was there in the wilderness, when manna fell for those who doubted they would ever be fed. It was there in the upper room, when broken bread and poured wine became symbols of unbreakable love. And it is here, even now, surrounding you like soft air on skin. Grace upon grace. The words are simple, but their depth has no end. They mean that mercy does not run out, that forgiveness does not dry up. They mean that every time you reach the end of your strength, another wave of His compassion begins. Breathe again, slow and sure. You are sitting within that miracle right now. The fact that you are loved, even after every failing, every falling, is grace upon grace. The peace that meets you in the middle of worry is grace upon grace. The stillness that invites you to rest when the world says keep moving is grace upon grace. Imagine a shoreline, gentle waves brushing the sand. Each wave a new beginning, never ceasing, never withheld. Even when the shore grows weary, The ocean keeps coming. So too does grace. It arrives again and again, not because of who we are, but because of who He is. Every breath you take is proof of it. Every sunrise that greets the broken world is evidence of it. Every moment you find yourself loved despite your doubts, forgiven despite your faults, is the quiet miracle repeating. Sometimes grace comes as strength to carry on. Sometimes as the courage to let go. Sometimes it is simply the peace to close your eyes and rest in the presence of the one who never stops giving. Let that peace move through you now. Feel it like warm light wrapping around your heart. You do not need to do anything to keep it. It was never yours to earn. It was always His to give. Outside, the night air hums with that same rhythm. The crickets sing softly. The breeze moves gently through the leaves. Creation itself seems to breathe in time with grace. The stars shimmer like drops of divine mercy falling endlessly from heaven. And somewhere, within the deep quiet of your soul, something whispers back. This is what love looks like when it has no end. Grace upon grace. There are weights the heart carries so long, it begins to mistake them for belonging. Invisible burdens, made of old guilt, quiet fear, and endless self-measuring. They settle deep within, shaping how we walk, how we breathe, how we see ourselves before God. But when peace enters the room, those burdens begin to melt. Take a slow, unhurried breath. Let your lungs fill fully, then release. Feel the shoulders ease, the spine soften, the chest open. You are safe here. You are seen. You are allowed to rest. Peace is not an idea. It is a presence. It arrives like light through open curtains, not asking permission, simply being what it is. It does not demand you fix what's broken before it enters. It becomes the very balm that heals. This peace, the peace of God, does not rise from human effort. It descends from divine mercy. And in its quiet glow, the burdens that once felt permanent begin to lose their shape. Imagine a mountain of snow, heavy and cold, covering the earth beneath. Then imagine the slow touch of spring sun, soft and constant. At first, nothing seems to change. But slowly, quietly, the snow begins to surrender, droplet by droplet, flowing into living streams. That is how grace works upon the heart. Not with force, but with steady warmth. Until what once weighed you down becomes the water that nourishes your new beginning. The burden melts in the presence of peace. The shame that lingered begins to soften. The worry that haunted every breath starts to fade into stillness. Even the memory of past striving feels distant, like footprints washed away by a gentle tide. You do not have to do anything for this to happen. Simply stay. Simply breathe. Peace is not something you earn. It is someone who arrives. He sits beside you now, not to judge, but to hold. He whispers through the rhythm of your own breath. My peace I give to you, not as the world gives. Breathe that in, slow and deep. Feel the warmth of that promise settle inside you. You are no longer defined by your weight, but by His love. You are no longer marked by striving, but by rest. Outside, the world mirrors this quiet miracle. The trees sway softly, unhurried by time. The air cools and stills, carrying a faint scent of rain and renewal. Every sound, every breeze, every distant echo speaks the same truth. Peace has come, and it is here to stay. Let the last fragments of burden slip away now. Let them fall into the vast hands that never grow tired of holding you. You were not made to live under the weight of perfection. You were made to live free in the warmth of grace. Stay here, in the stillness of this peace. Let it seep into every thought, every heartbeat, every breath. The burden is melting, and in its place, there is only calm. There is a stillness that exists beyond exhaustion, beyond worry, beyond all the trying that once felt necessary. It waits like a calm lake beneath the moon, unmoving, unafraid. This is the still water of trust, the sacred rest that grace invites us into. Take a long, slow breath. Let it flow all the way down into your belly, steady, soft. Hold it for a moment, and release. Feel the pace of your heart settle. Feel the space between thoughts widen. The world outside can hurry if it must, but in here, time moves like water, patient, peaceful, whole. You find yourself beside that still lake in your mind's eye. The air carries the faint scent of cedar and rain. The night sky spread wide like a gentle canopy of silver light. The surface of the water mirrors the heavens. So still, it feels as if creation itself is pausing to breathe. This is where trust begins. Not in noise or proof, but in peace. Trust is not about understanding the path. It is about resting in the one who guides it. It is not built on control, but surrender. Not on strength, but on knowing that love does not fail. Grace has brought you to this quiet edge, not to test you, but to teach you to float. Breathe again. Let the air move in rhythm with the imagined ripples before you. Each inhale, like drawing light from the stars. Each exhale, like releasing your grip on what tomorrow may hold. Here, in this place, faith becomes less about doing and more about dwelling, about resting in the truth that you are held and have always been. The still waters reflect everything above them, yet they never strive to mirror. They simply are. They do not struggle to shine. They only receive light. That is the mystery of trust. It is not effort. It is openness. It is the art of allowing grace to be grace. You do not have to fix the reflection. You do not have to calm the surface yourself. Just let the peace within you rise to meet the peace around you. And soon, you'll find the two are the same. Somewhere in the silence, you hear a verse float through your thoughts. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. The words feel familiar, yet new. Because tonight, they are not distant scripture. They are happening now. You are beside still waters. Your soul is being restored. Stay here a little longer, in the safety of this calm. Let your breath and your heartbeat become one quiet rhythm of gratitude. There is nothing more to earn, nothing more to prove. The shepherd has led you here for this very rest. Let the water mirror your peace. Let grace hold your reflection. You are safe. You are seen. You are sustained. The still waters of trust and rest are yours to return to, whenever you need. There comes a moment in every weary soul's story when the running simply ends. Not because the path disappears, but because the heart discovers it no longer has to chase what is already here. The finish line was never ahead. It was beneath your feet all along. And grace, patient and kind, has been walking beside you the whole way. Take a slow, deep breath. Let it move through your body like gentle wind through open fields. Feel your heart beat slow, your breath soften, your mind quiet. You are safe, and the journey of striving is over. For so long, the heart has run through valleys of guilt, across deserts of performance, climbing mountains of expectation, always reaching, always measuring, always asking, "Am I enough yet?" But tonight, the answer arrives, not as a shout, but as a whisper carried on still air. You were enough. From the beginning. The heart pauses, uncertain at first. What does it mean to stop when the world keeps saying go, achieve, earn? What does it mean to rest when everything you've known is the sound of motion? It means learning to trust the stillness, to believe that peace is not the absence of purpose, but the presence of love. Breathe again, slowly. Let each breath remind you that rest is not failure. It is faith. Each inhale, grace entering. Each exhale, self-effort leaving. You have arrived at the quiet center where striving cannot follow. In the distance, the wind stirs through tall grass, soft and rhythmic. Fireflies flicker like tiny prayers, brief but beautiful. And as you stand there, in the hush of the meadow, you realize this is what surrender feels like. Not giving up, but giving over. Not falling apart, but falling into His hands. There is a peace that comes when you stop running. It does not erase your story. It redeems it. It does not undo the journey. It transforms it into grace. Every step, every stumble, every tear along the way has led you here, to this moment, where love finally catches you. Close your eyes and imagine the world holding its breath with you. The trees, the stars, even the distant hills seem to lean in toward this quiet stillness. And somewhere within it, you can almost hear a voice, low and warm, saying, "Rest now, my child. The race is finished." No medals, no applause, just peace. The kind that fills the spaces where fear once lived. The kind that lets you lie down, not as someone unfinished, but as someone found. Let that peace sink deep into your bones. Let your heart stop running and start remembering. Remember that you were never alone on the path. Remember that grace walked beside you, carrying you when you could no longer carry yourself. Now, breathe. One last time for this moment. Inhale, peace. Exhale, gratitude. You are home within His mercy, and you do not need to run anymore. Silence has a sound. If you listen closely enough, it hums like the breath between stars, like the heartbeat of creation beneath the night air. It is in this silence that grace becomes visible, not through sight, but through knowing. The light of God moves quietly here, not in flashes or thunder, but in gentle illumination that finds the soul wherever it hides. Take a deep breath, in through the nose, slow and smooth. Hold it for a moment, and let it go. Each breath out makes room for stillness. Each breath in draws light deeper into your being. You are not chasing the light tonight. It is finding you. The heart has stopped running now, and in its quiet rhythm, something beautiful begins. You notice how the air feels softer, how the world seems to glow even in its darkness. Because light is not the absence of night. It is the promise that even here, you are not alone. There was a man once, who sat in the dark corner of his home, believing God had turned away. He had failed. He had fallen. He had forgotten how to hope. But as he sat there, in the silence between regrets, a single beam of dawn found its way through the cracks of his window. It touched his face, warm and real, and he began to weep, not from shame, but from relief. The light had found him. It always had. Grace works like that light. It moves through every shadow of your story, through the corners you wish it wouldn't see. And still it shines, not to expose you, but to embrace you. It touches the wounds gently, not to reopen them, but to show that healing has already begun. Even here, even now, love is reaching for you. Breathe again, deeply. Let the air enter you as if it carries starlight itself. Let it fill the hidden spaces, the quiet worries, the tender places still learning to trust. The light is patient. It will wait until you are ready to open. And when you do, it will not blind you. It will bless you. In the silence of your soul, that divine light begins to move like water over stone. It washes away the shadows that whispered you were unworthy. It settles upon the parts of you that thought they were too far gone. It reminds you that no place is too dark for grace to find. Outside, the night breathes deeply. The wind slows. The stars shimmer in steady peace. The same God who scattered them across the heavens scatters his light across the chambers of your heart. He does not demand that you shine for him. He shines within you. You were never asked to be the source of the light, only the vessel. Rest in that truth. Let it soften you. You don't need to reach for God, for he is already here. You don't need to prove your worth, for his light has declared it. Even in silence, even in stillness, even in the smallest breath, you are seen, and you are loved. Stay here, beneath this quiet glow. Let it hold you, warm you, fill you until all that is left is peace. You are the beloved, found by light in the silence of grace. There comes a moment, after the silence has settled, when the heart begins to realize the truth it has been hearing all along. That salvation was never a race to be won, but a gift to be received. That grace was never earned. It was always waiting. And that love, quiet, patient, enduring, has been the hand holding you through every step of the journey. Breathe deeply, gently. Let your lungs fill with calm. Let the air move slowly through you. Each breath is a benediction, a whispered blessing from heaven itself. Inhale peace. Exhale striving. Inhale love. Exhale fear. You are standing in the gentle aftermath of grace. Salvation is not a transaction. It is a transformation. It is not a tally of good against bad. It is a rebirth into belonging. It is the awakening of the heart to a love that was never dependent on performance. It is the sacred knowing that the one who created you has never once regretted it. The apostle once wrote, "For it is by grace you have been saved, through faith. And this is not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not by works, not by merit, not by effort. A gift, undeserved, unearned, unstoppable." That truth sits like morning light upon your soul now. Soft, golden, steady. The edges of your doubt grow warm. The shadows of guilt shrink back. You begin to see your life, not as a series of failures or triumphs, but as one long story of being loved back to peace. Close your eyes and imagine the dawn spreading across the horizon. The first rays touching the hills. The birds waking with songs that sound like gratitude. You are part of that sunrise, part of creation's hymn of thanksgiving. Grace has found you. Faith has anchored you. Love has made its home within you. Breathe again. Slowly. Let the weight of that truth rest gently on your chest. There is no striving here. Only stillness. No judgment. Only joy. No earning. Only receiving. The God who spoke galaxies into existence now whispers peace into your heart. He calls you his own, and that word carries eternity inside it. You are not forgotten, not forsaken, not unworthy. You are saved by love, held by mercy, kept by grace. And as the sky brightens, you begin to feel it, that soft benediction of belonging. The quiet assurance that you are right where you were always meant to be. Not standing tall from achievement, but resting low in gratitude. Not proud of perfection, but humbled by grace. Stay in this peace a little longer. Let the love that saved you be the love that keeps you. Let your heart whisper its own Amen. Soft, steady, true. The night has done its healing work. The morning awaits. And between them, you rest. Fully known, fully loved, fully free. The night has quieted now, the air still, the world wrapped in the hush of sacred peace. The story has come full circle, from striving to surrender, from effort to embrace. And what remains is the still heartbeat of truth, steady and sure. You are held, not by the strength of your hands, but by the arms of grace. Take a slow, patient breath. Let the air rise through your chest and fall again, gentle as the sea at dawn. Let your mind drift like clouds over calm water. You have reached the resting place your soul was made for. Grace is not an ending. It is a home. It welcomes you each time you return weary, each time you forget and remember again. It opens its doors without question, without condition. Here, in the arms of grace, you are safe to stop, to exhale, to simply be. The stars above shimmer softly, their light reflected on the quiet surface of your spirit. Every glimmer a reminder that love never sleeps, that mercy is not morning's promise only, but midnight's too. Even in the deepest hours, when all else fades, grace remains awake for you. In this stillness, imagine the presence of God wrapping around you like warmth that never cools. No boundaries, no distance, only belonging. This is the eternal rest promised to those who trust in His gift. Not a rest of idleness, but of peace so deep, it becomes worship itself. Breathe again, slow and light. Let your final thoughts of the day dissolve into gratitude. Gratitude for every unseen kindness, every mercy that met you before you even knew to ask. Gratitude for a love that asks nothing, yet gives everything. You are saved, not because you reached far enough, but because He came close enough. You are free, not because you conquered the world, but because He conquered your fear. You are loved, not because of what you've done, but because of who He is. Let the rhythm of that truth rock you now. Let it cradle your spirit as night carries you deeper into rest. The story is finished. The race is over. The striving undone. Only grace remains, breathing softly over you like lullaby air. Outside, a new dawn waits beyond the horizon. Patient, unhurried. And when you rise, the same mercy that held you tonight will meet you again in the morning. Grace does not end with sleep. It begins anew with every breath. So close your eyes, and let the arms of grace become your final thought. You are home. You are forgiven. You are loved without end. Rest now, in peace that cannot be broken. Say Amen softly, as you drift into eternal rest, in the arms of grace.